Hi darlings, thank you so much for joining me on the channel today. And today I have a process video for you in my art journaling. If you guys missed the setup for this, I'll link it below. But this is my art journal that I'm going to be using for the month of June. And I am journaling day 1 for But God. And so I already did my study, and then also in the beginning of the month, I took all the journaling cards that came with the kit, and these are the verse cards that came with the tag bob, and I actually washi tape them in to the days that they go with. That way it'd be easier, it'd be easy for me to find them. And for example, I opened up day 1, so I already know that this card goes with day 1, just in case I do want to use it in day 1's art journaling, which today I think I am going to use it. So that's just a trick that I did for each day when I come and sit down. I already have the verse card if I'm going to journal with it, and I can just make a choice whether I want to use it on that day or not. So day 1 was conjunctions and semicolon, and we are looking at verse 14 of 2nd of Samuel chapter 14. And I am going to go ahead and get that down in my art journal. I have all of ByTheWell4God kit, but God separated. I have some extra scraps and things that I had put in here from doing my title page or my intro page. And so I have everything here, and I just have this to the side, and I pulled out some other things that I may use. So yeah, let's get started. Let's dig in. Okay, darling, so I'm going to grab my art journal and I'm going to flip to the page I wanted to use. I didn't know if I was going to use the page right behind the intro, but I actually decided to flip it over. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer, and I am going to pull out my stencil because I knew that I wanted to use this possibly in the background. So in my organization, I did organize the flowers and put them stacked together, the ones that are similar. So it's super easy to go through and find similar flowers to the one that was on the card. I thought that would just make the page look better. So the white florals that are in the bottom right hand side of that card, of the verse card, I actually pulled out other die cuts that looked like it. So now I'm going to head into my Tim Holtz Distress Oxide tin, and I'm going to pull out a couple of colors. The colors that I pull out are tumbled glass, peeled paint, and then I'll pull out Victorian Velvet later on. I thought about possibly using watercolors first, but then I decided to just go with Distress Oxide. So I grab a round contour brush, and I'm going to be using that to add the color into the background. So I kind of didn't want to go with peeled paint because I knew that the colors was a little more on the yellow tone than the colors here, but it actually ended up working out. What I did was I used a light hand with the color and tried not to press too hard, and you can still see the design, but it was very light. And I really love how that turned out. So I first thought I was going to do just 3 different areas, but then I decided to do 4. That way up in the left-hand corner, it wouldn't be too stark white. But I did also want to leave room for my title that I knew would go on the left-hand side. Okay, so arranging the florals around, and now I'm thinking about possibly adding some more to the background. So I grab this hibiscus that is in the 4x6 stamp set that came with the kit. I thought about using the freebie hibiscus, but I ended up using the other one. So this is when I reached for the Victorian Velvet color because I thought that matched the bird on that die cut on the top right hand side the best. And actually I love it because it really blended in with the bird, and it brought some of that pink around the page. It's kind of a dusty pink. It's one of my favorite colors. I use it all the time for backgrounds, and this was actually really pretty with this hibiscus flower. So you see me move the stamp around a couple of times, and then that wraps it up. So I didn't want too much pink, just wanted little touches of pink that would bring that pink from the bird around the page. Okay, now I knew I needed a label because I wanted to add a quote from Judy, and it was a short quote, so I wanted a label to be able to journal on. First, I cut out, now this is a sticker, but you'll see me cut out a pink one and a blue one because I wasn't 100% sure which one I wanted to use. I ultimately come up and think that there's just a bit too much pink now. So I thought the blue would bring in some of the blue in. There's actually some flowers on the bottom of the verse card that have a little bit of a blue hue. So I thought that would bring a little bit more of that blue out and add a third color to my page. So I end up going with that. So after, what I do is sometimes I cut out the labels first to add them to the page to kind of see how they look before committing. And then once I commit, I'll take it off the backing and then add it to my page. Okay, so now I'm starting to commit to what I like because I'm liking the way this is turning out. So I start gluing down all of my pieces. I am using the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. This is the blue one. I love both the blue and the green one. The blue one is great for paper, so like die cuts, paper, printables, things like that. And the green one is really good for a lot of different materials. So I'm using the blue one in my video today. And then I'm gonna add this floral. I actually liked keeping on the white border on these die cuts because it makes it pop off of the green background. But I had to cut a little bit of that off on this floral to make sure it didn't interfere with the spiral. So just holding that down for a couple of seconds, it dries pretty quick. And then there is that. Okay, so now I'm going to move towards my title. So I have the words, but God. This was on the 4x6 stamp set that came with the kit. And I was kind of figuring out where I wanted to place it. I wanted to add the word makes a way. So my day one title is going to be, but God makes a way, because in 2 Samuel 14:14, it reads, we must all die. We are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. But God will take away life, and he devises means so that the banished one will not remain outcast. And so in this verse, it says, but God will not take away life. And then it says that God devises the means. In other words, he makes a way for the banished, us that have been banished by sin and by our past. That way we don't stay banished from him. So he made a way. He makes a way for us to come back into relationship with him. So ultimately, that is what I end up adding as my title here, but God. And then I use the clear alphas in that blue color. This matches the same blue from the label down at the bottom and brings some of that blue up to the top. And so I write out the words makes a way. You can also use any of your stamps if you have any alphas. You could also have used some of the tile alphas. Those would have worked perfect as well here. Okay, so now I have this empty space and I thought, that'd be perfect for a number. So I went and grabbed this number. I used this outliner number stamp. It's so good. The numbers are really, really big, but I think it works in this big 7x9 format. So I go ahead and use my VersaFine ink as well. And I grab my stamp block and I add that to the left-hand side here. It's serendipity that it worked. It's like the perfect space for that. I'm going to grab my date stamp and add today's date here. Okay, and then after adding today's date, I'm going to add a quote from Judy from day one. It says, when things look like a full stop period, they are just a comma awaiting the hand of God. I thought that was beautiful. I really love how she explained and broke down the differences between conjunctions and commas, because but is actually a conjunction word. And it was written beautifully, and I love this quote, and I really wanted to get it down here as well. That is it, darlings. Love how it turned out. And I really loved pulling different colors for the background because it kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks like it's coming off of the card and it kind of matches really well. So I really loved, was glad that I was able to find colors that match perfectly. So this is my day one, and I hope to do more of these process videos since it's all going to be in my art journal, and share more with you guys. So if you're new here, I hope you consider subscribing, hit the like button and notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for joining me each and every videos, darlings. Check out those links below. God bless. Bye.